Alright everyone, Donut DM here, and today I'm doing the Sunken Temple of Qarn. This is one of my least favorite dungeons in terms of gimmicks, because it's got some gimmicks. It's a pretty straightforward dungeon outside of these couple gimmicks though. Once again, there are some issues with big pulling this early on. There's a specific enemy that has an ability that can one-shot you. So anyways, let's get to work. We're going to grab these bad boys. I'll go ahead and run them towards the back here. Fire and then fruit. You want to keep that in your mind. Fire, then fruit. Order is important. Anyway, as I said, big pulling's kind of bad, but we're going to go ahead and go for it. We got a black mage. Alright, so you can safely pull these first two groups of enemies together. But if you see that hornet flying around back there, that is the troublemaker. And you're going to notice I'm kind of just spamming my AoE ability. Once you start doing bigger pulls, it's important to spam the AoE ability, because at high potency, when there's 3 or 4 enemies, does more damage to the whole group than your single target DPS rotation would really be contributing. So, gotta make sure, grab these stone tablets that you see come into play later. Like I said, there's gimmicks. Alright, grab this first group. This Temple B is what you really want to focus first. It has a tank busting ability. And hopefully, yeah, the party's catching on to it. So the Temple B has an ability called Final Sting. And I believe it does 9,999 damage, which, when you're level synced, that's all your health. Alright, so this rock, very important enemy, not this one specifically, but they play a part of future gimmicks. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this one. When you kill this one, he drops a chest for you. Again, I did not do a big pull on that because I do not like having more than one B. If you make sure to mark it, it really helps your party out, especially if they're first timers. I have died a good number of times. I don't know how many, but I'd say the first 10 or so times that I ran this with new people, until I started marking enemies or explaining, hey, focus the bees. At least one time I died to a bee during this dungeon. Alright, on to the first boss, the Territar. He's got a gimmick. Essentially, when a panel lights up, run to it. Yeah. So you're going to want to run him into a corner, preferably towards the middle. Find an angle that doesn't screw over your camera, because he does have that short little frontal cone. Alright, you'll see he summoned some wasps. You want to make sure you grab those, mark them. They start using Final Stings fairly quickly. I mean, we kill them, but make sure you focus anything with a stinger in this dungeon. Alright, you see how he says begins to growl. That means he's going to start using his ability. Alright. So, we are all afflicted with doom. You want to run to whatever panel is glowing, it takes a doom off of you. And while he does that, he summons more of these little wasps. Again, pull them back, make sure you're not getting anybody hurt by an AoE ability. And that's it. Pretty simple boss. Alright, gonna run in. This group is 2 bees. Do not do a big pull right here, because you start moving into the next gimmick with those rock monsters. I think this bee might actually be able to start casting Final Sting. Nope. Alright, so, gimmick. The avoirdupois, or however the hell you say it, I don't know. You need to hold them on that panel there. You have to kill the enemy on the panel. Otherwise, this door will not open. You'll see as soon as you kill them, 2 more spawn. Or I guess rather come at you. You gotta pull one over to a panel. It's really hard while there's still 2 of them because they, okay, they just killed that one. So this just unlocks chest rooms, but you kind of need to kill them on the panel because otherwise they just chase you. Really obnoxious. We'll go inside. I just want to show it to you. We need the fruit of knowledge. Typically what I like to do, if people know what's going on in this dungeon, is I like to grab one room's enemies while somebody picks up the tablet. Which one's in here? Yeah, and the Flame of Magic. You need that one too. Alright. These enemies will die fairly quickly. Did I say Black Mage? No, that's not Black Mage. My bad, guys. I don't know my job icons. That's a not Scholar. It's the opposite of Scholar Summoner. It's the bad Scholar. That's saying a lot because Scholar is a bad healer. And Summoner's not a bad DPS, honestly. And Scholar's not a bad healer. You're gonna see when I do my healing videos. I've been doing Scholar. But it's not worth the extra hassle you have to go through to control your pet when the other classes just do so much more for less. Grab these wall crawlers. Go ahead and just pull them away from that patrol that's over there. No need to fight extra stuff. Cycle through the enemies, find the one your DPS is getting, and just start taking them down. Pretty straightforward. Run through, wait for the healer to heal me. Slash, wait for me to regen some health. Give people time for cooldowns to come up. And we go. Right, you notice there's a Soul Stone and the Temple Guardian. You have to first attack the Soul Stone. Like most bosses, most of his attacks are just directionals, face it away from the party, and there's really not an issue. Alright, once the Soul Stone is broken, then you can start attacking the boss itself. While you're doing this, he's going to be reforming his Soul Stone. And you just repeat the cycle. As soon as he does that, though, there will be a moment where he does turn and start attacking. He just ignores aggro at this point. You just use abilities all willy-nilly. So I wasn't originally planning on making this video, but I got a candle burning, I've got chores I'm procrastinating on, had a nice long day of work, and I decided, you know what? I haven't made a Final Fantasy video in a hot minute. Let me do some of that. This is the most bothersome part. Here we go. Honestly, how does this look? Dumb. Grab, grab, grab. Kind of a big group of enemies. I'm gonna pull them up this hill a bit. I don't want to do too big of a pull because, as you can see, their attack cycle takes out about a quarter of my health. Adding in extra enemies just would not make the process easy. But now that I got a few of them down, go ahead and start running. And just pull them into the next group. Again, if you're doing great with tanking, you could probably do 2 groups of enemies at a time. Nothing like the wall-to-wall pulls of the later dungeons, but I personally, in these lower level dungeons, feel like you have so many abilities that you need to have still locked. It just makes it a little more painful. Okay, so the crocodile actually has a tail attack. So you want to knock that bad boy out. Again, just kill the rock on the pedestal. So you put the right item into those slots that unlocks doors with chests. We don't care about those. But each one will be like, this is for the fruit of magic. And you'll be like, okay, you put the fruit of magic in. Honestly, the rocks is my least favorite gimmick here. Alright, so you're just going to go ahead and grab everything and go straight into that room. Not necessarily a huge pull, but, you know, it's a multi-enemy pull. I'll typically pop an offensive cooldown. And I'll also use, like, what is it? Reprisal. Reduces enemy damage by 10%. Amazing ability, guys. Don't sleep on that roll ability. Just keep spamming AoEs. Now, one thing I have to say, I move around too much for tanking. flame. Then fruit. Pretty sure this is the same every time. Ta-da! You do it right, you get the treasure room off to the left. Nobody really cares about that. But you do it wrong and you have to fight an extra group of enemies. And nobody wants that. So, anyways, final boss, I will explain all mechanics as they show up. Definitely not because I forgot them, but because I forgot them. It's pretty similar, though. I believe it has Doom. Alright. See the Sun Juror? I wanna kill it on the panel. Think. I don't quite remember how this goes. Your team wants to kill those. Do not go after them as the tank. Kind of just makes your life more difficult. Alright, so you'll see that it spawns a big box around it. It traps anybody inside the box. Right, so that creeping darkness ability is just map wide. This one's pretty straightforward, I think. You want at least one person inside with it because you cannot attack it from the outside. But it will keep doing its little laser beam thing, even if, you know, there's nobody in there to fight it. So this one, you kind of want each person to go grab one of the little mirrors. If not, it just starts to become a bit of a bullet hell. Seems like they're just gonna let it be that way, though. Ta-da! That's it. I totally don't remember what those glowing panels on the floor were for, but if you keep the boss on it at all times and keep like everything on it, you really can't go wrong, you know? But that's it. That's the guide for the Sunken Temple of Qarn. Again, these early dungeons are really mostly just about learning the basics of aggro. They really don't throw anything too complicated at you. I'm unpacking my house for moving. So, who's to say when the next video will be? Because there's a whole lot of junk. I realized when moving, my wife has a lot of junk. And I have to find space for it in the new house. But I hope you guys stay tuned. I might start the healing videos early. Because I kind of want to level up Astrologian. So, see you guys next time. For either healing or tanking. Or maybe both. Who knows? Goodbye.